And for those of you just now tuning in, we're going to be a little bit hopeful that, well, a little bit hopeful. This is actually going to be a very good match, by the way. I mean, Navi, one of the strongest teams in Europe, certainly the strongest team originating from the Ukraine, but the knife round is already pretty one-sided as Fnatic comes out on top on what is essentially a slightly T-sided map. That being said, it's entirely up to them whether they take CT side or T side. T side, of course, they're going to have the firepower advantage. They will be capable of one headshot kills, single headshot kills with AK-47s later on as the game develops. And I think right now they're just chatting about it, thinking, okay, so do we want to go with T side or CT side? What's really going to be very important is whether or not we... Okay, it looks like they're taking CT side. They're just waiting for the match to restart. Crims, before joining this game, actually had his in-game name as Screw. A little bit interesting if you stop and think about it. But for the time being, we're just going to take a little bit of a pause on the YouTube VOD and wait for the real game to get underway. Alright, so we are back, and now it's finally restarted. So a lot of you guys are probably tuning into the YouTube channel right now and thinking to yourselves, well, why on earth would we want to tune into this? Well, it's just the same event with a little bit less filler in between. When you stop and look at the VODs, yeah, they've got Anders and Semler and everyone else in between, but usually you have to fast forward about 20 minutes into those VODs to actually see the game begin. So while streaming this live to Homa.tv, we'll also be doing a YouTube recording, or rather just a VOD that I'll upload later on. So here we are. This is looking pretty stacked for A long right now, coming from Nada Svenseer. 4 guys right outside of it. I do believe that's going to be Seized, who's watching down, watching mid, high mid, making sure that nobody's trying to come in. And it looks like there's a bit of, I wouldn't say misinformation here, but Nada Svenseer certainly taking their time with this round. No reason not to. I mean, an overextension from Fnatic, you know, giving them the man advantage very early on would be something very devastating. And it looks like we might have something of that nature coming as JW is actually poking up mid a little bit. He will actually be rewarded for that, however, with the opening frag on Seized. 4 versus 5, not necessarily a big end of the world play from Nada Svenseer, but certainly something that's going to give Fnatic one leg up. But the pistol round, it's very chaotic and random. There they are, rushing up A short, and for some strange reason, I do apologize, we don't have the auto observer switching to them, so I'll just take it to them manually. Already 2 for 1 in exchange of Fnatic's side. It's now 3 versus 2 with Navi kind of on the back foot. Flamey in a very odd situation. As you can see, he does land a headshot onto Crims, but he's unable to get the lethal damage. He's now 1 versus 3. Could get absolutely flanked, but it's gonna be all of Meister Anythings with 3 frags to his name and the double kill at the end of the round. I know a lot of you are probably going to laugh at me for making this statement, but I'm very much so looking forward to the Mongols playing later on today. It should be later on in the evening. For those of you who are in Europe right now, it would be afternoon time, but all in all, it's going to be VODs that you guys are watching from YouTube in English. But at this peculiar moment in time, Fnatic winning that first round, they have the firepower advantage on this round. Tech9s and P250s, Deagles, those are all capable of one-shot kills, and Nada Svenseer is going for full armor to couple those. If they do not at least manage to get a bomb plant down this round, then they're going to be in a lot of financial difficulty. JW just waiting for Guardian, or whoever might be around the corner besides Guardian, to pop his head out at B. Just a little bit misinformed. Alphmites are going to open up with a very strong frag already onto Flamey, and it looks like he'll be continuing that duel. Not able to get another one. Flamey gets the re-kill, and that's going to be Crims getting another 2 in the exchange thus far. Not too terribly bad for a team that's on pistols versus a team that's got M4s and everything else of that nature. JW just not able to come out and duel against Guardian. Guardian now going to go flush, only 35 HP remaining on him. Dennis Meister cleaning up mid, and now it's 2 versus 1. Guardian's position revealed. He does have a TMP, but he's going to stick with that Deagle for the time being. He has the bomb, and he knows there's at least one at bomb site B. He's kind of making a lot of noise as he scrambles to get the bomb site A, but he might be playing for a flank of some form. At mid, Dennis Meister 1 step too late, along with Flusha, and they are going to be going through CT. A little bit, you know, dangerous, to say the very least, but nonetheless, Dennis Meister will plant one in the head to seal things out on Guardian and get themselves another round on the board. Fnatic taking an expensive win that round. Basically, when you stop and look at this in layman's terms, in order to keep your team from losing money as a whole, you have to essentially just basically have 3 guys alive left on CT side. On Natus Vincere side, rather T side, you're actually going to need 2. And it looks like this is kind of a T-spawn A-long stack coming out from Natus Vincere. Mostly P250s, and the rest is all, the rest is all Glocks, but overall, things looking rather grim this round for Natus Vincere. All off the back of the pistol round, I guess you could say. But, I mean, in some ways, you kind of look at the situation that Guardian was in at the end of that last round. I feel like if there was a little bit less hesitation, he might have been able to pull off the win. If I was perhaps one of the 2 CTs, I probably, in that position, I would have made sure he wasn't going to back out, and I probably would have gone mid myself to try to kind of catch him on the rotate. But hold that thought, as we do have a huge stack A short. The entire team and Flush are about to go toe-to-toe. If Dennis Meister comes in from A long, that's going to be a full rotate. They're making the entry right now. There it is. It's going to be a counter entry flash, and it looks like they're aiming for the bomb plant right now. They're not aiming for the win, obviously, but they look as though they got that much down. It's going to be Guardian now trying to defend it. Unable to make a single frag, and that was kind of an economy builder for Fnatic, but I think for Natus Vincere, that's going to give them enough money for a full buy, and potentially their ticket back into this game. AK-47s will come out along with the utilities and armor. We will see an AWP on Guardian, and he doesn't have a helmet, which can be a little bit iffy versus CTs. I'm not entirely sure. I think, I can't say for certain, but I think from a long distance shot, you can survive a headshot from an M4. Promise, I believe you would be able to, without a helmet. Crims and Dennis Meister getting very, I wouldn't say over-eager in B tunnels, but certainly telling whoever might be going that direction right now, that seized rather, that he shouldn't get too terribly comfortable pushing in. At the moment, Crims, he is looking, I don't think he knows that there's a duel waiting for him outside of that, and it looks like Flamey's coming to reinforce seized at the moment. The smoke blocking off the tunnels ought to tell them, otherwise it's just like, yeah, maybe this won't happen. Crims will reposition himself back into B tunnels, and at this moment, it looks like we've got a pretty heavy stack for that. I'm sorry, yes, right there. Oh my goodness. Seized, Edward, and company are now coming in. Flash will push Crims out of his position, and he will be falling back to just outside of B platform. He's on site now. They do push him out of that position. They work their way in the tunnels, but now it looks like they're going lower tunnels right now. 40 seconds remain, and not a single frag has yet to be made. We do see Dennis Meister with just a little bit of shaved HP, but he's not out of this game. Seized out of the frag grenade dropped on top of his head by Olafmeister there, and with that being said, it's you know, a little bit dangerous for him, but there it is, the rush into bomb site B. Rush is not catching it right now. That's actually our observer, and I have no clue why. Let's pop back into that action. Flamey gets blinded. He's immediately taken down by Olafmeister and scoring another kill, triple kill. Olafmeister makes a pretty solid hold given what he has, and I think he managed, I'm sorry, I saw him making a kill with an M4, and then he salvaged an AWP, just dropping it for his teammate. Let me identify who that was. I believe that was Dennis Meister who just went down, most likely, since he is lowest on the economic ladder. But Fnatic definitely in a strong position right now. They don't have too terribly much to worry about unless they get caught in close corners versus Navi on this round. And with that being said, they will, I think, it's hard to say really. the weapons that we have from Not a Sincere, yeah, they're all capable of one-shot kills, but it's very situational. We're talking about the necessity for close quarters to be employed, unless, of course, you're talking about Edwards and Guardian. I'm sorry, Edwards there with the Deagle. Guardian has only a pistol and a couple of utilities on him, and that will make for somewhat of a solid-ish entry. And I think we can kind of see what's coming out from the Na'Vi boys right now, but definitely in a kind of, I wouldn't say an awkward position, but definitely a financially difficult position for themselves. Oh my god, that stack. Entry looks like it's going to be made for A short, and on point it's going to be Olafmeister waiting for that corner turn from the rest of that team. Just as I'm ready to push the button to go to Olafmeister TV, we do have the observer hitting him. It's going to be A short, the flashes go down, and that will be Zeus. It looks like popping down, immediately taken down, however, by JW. It's going to be Flamey coming in for one refrag, 3 versus 4 now at this present position. Now Edward getting another one, back to 3 versus 3. It's going to be Dennis getting the refrag on a Flamey, now 1 versus... or it remains a Fnatic, and OPM, man. Was that necessary, Seized? Come on. I mean, that was still a profitable round for Fnatic, what with 3 men left on the board, but I think this, this is probably not as Vincere's second chance at coming back in this round, or really this match, considering they have 4 AKs and AWP. The rifle rounds are really the ones that should be made to count. Feels as though there's a part of Na'Vi that, I'm not saying their head isn't in the game, but it just feels as though they may not be at full form at this moment. Olafmeister gonna make the opening frag. There it is. But we have to be objective when we're talking about Fnatic as a team. They are, of course, the best in the world. They did just win the ESL Barcelona Invitational not even 2 weeks ago. It's going to be a fragmentation grenade, and that is going to be one very hurt Zeus, barely still alive after that. I thought the grenade would have finished him off, and they will be just backtracking, backpedaling a little bit, and reconsidering their options at the moment. Based on the information that they have, they would think that someone is watching A short. That would be Olafmeister. Shots being fired, grenades being tossed, they think to themselves, alright, so our entry onto A short has kind of been ruined, but we still have some utilities left. Let's just do some poking around, try and get a frag, play off of that, and it's 4 versus 4 right now, but of course Zeus is very low HP. That's like kind of like having 5 boxing gloves, or excuse me, a boxing glove on. Guardian goes down. This is difficult but doable. Going to be a pop flash and then a retreat towards mid, back to 3 versus 3 now. An analogy I tried to make it, it's kind of like having, your boxing gloves on, but inside maybe one of your fingers is broken, perhaps your pinky bone, so you can't punch as efficiently. Zeus getting another frag, amazingly triple kill off of 11 HP, and unfortunately Fnatic wins the round by time. Kind of an expensive-ish win, but that barely defeats the profit margin, just barely. It's like having a rent every month of about $500 US, and then you having $600 US to pay your rent. You're left with 100 at the end of that month. JW waiting for that duel to come in, or that pick to come in through B tunnels, and it's going to be... Looks like Guardian, no, I'm sorry, Seized, waiting for an overextension by that op player. Seized, looks like he's got trouble. Firing comes through, but neither side connects their shots, so both sides will just kind of back out for the time being, but really it's Seized who's not bulging, and it's going to be JW who's in, I'd say, a heap of trouble, but not so hot. But off the back of that last round, really what had happened was we saw that 3 players got away with absolutely no profit from Not as Sincere. JW punishing them right now, gonna make the opening frag of the round, and that's Seized who's out of the game. No information on the B side, really, and that's going to be a rotation, it looks like, from JW towards mid. A short seems to be open-ish, and it's going to be Edwards trying to make some frags happen. Olafmeister is now going to pwn Edwards' head. Zeus not looking too happy with a bullet to the face from Flusha, and now we've got Guardian and Flamey left. I think this is going to be a play for a salvage, not for a win. 40 seconds remain, and their main focus is going to be survival for those 40 seconds. It's going to be difficult with a 5 versus 2, especially with Guardian really only needing to take one more bullet before he is knocked out. Maybe not as sincere need to start thinking about what they're going to be doing in the next round. I mean, certainly this one's been taken off the board. Flamey looks like he's waiting for all to come out. Does take one bullet, Dennis Meister does, but he's going to go back into that. And now we're going to be seeing some kind of an attempted flank. Edward and Guardian managing to hold their ground for the time being, not too terribly bad. But will he stay alive? It's... Wait, Flamey? Flamey went down, unfortunately. He lost his weapon and his money for the round. If that was me, I would have perhaps shouted an expletive. Not too terribly good in the position of Natus Vincere, but they're going to take it into a pause. I think it will be a tactical pause, so we're just going to do the same thing ourselves on the VOD. That was a relatively short pause, and we are now back. Not entirely sure what that was all about, but we do have Navi now buying Kevlar pistols, and this is a little stuff that is going to more or less complement what we have coming from Guardian. He has an AWP in hand. There's now 8 rounds left to 8 rounds left to this half, and they make the opening frag. It was pretty nice. They played off of an overextension from Dennis. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say there was no reason for Dennis to go up there, but I mean, it was what it was. And Dennis unfortunately paid the consequences. He's going to be dropping that weapon. Zeus will be picking it up with 76 HP. And it looks like Flamey is going to be pushing up towards mid just a little bit. I'm trying to identify who that is at mid. It's Crims. And he's out of utilities at the moment. But he does have full armor. Olafmeister, I don't think will be pushing through. Well, will he be? Will he be? He's pushing through, peeking, checking every single corner. And there's someone waiting for him on the other side of that door. He's on boxcar right now, and he hops down. Edward gonna go on the Deagle, does land one in his target, I believe, but that was through a metal surface, so Olafmeister's still relatively healthy. Pop flash coming out. Edward going forward, gonna not win that duel, but Olafmeister will get a frag first time, and now he's out of position as we do have the entry being made to bomb site A. This looks like a round that maybe Natus Vincere can take for themselves. 4 versus 2. They have superior weapons. Olafmeister and JW. Oh, JW shut down now by Guardian, and now it looks as though, I mean, Olafmeister's the last man standing, 3 versus 1, and that's going to be Guardian getting the frag with a little bit of help from Seized. So overall, Natus Vincere, they do actually manage to put a point on the board for themselves. The economic situation for Fnatic, strong but not perfect. Dennis Meister being a somewhat blaring example for the moment. I don't want to say the wrong term here, because of course he didn't have the full 5,600 that would be desired for a rifle purchase. JW, however, is going to have AWP, and you know, it's a slightly better buy coming out from Natus Vincere at the moment. Mid to B, the play has been made, no smoke whatsoever, but Olafmeister just taking it down. 3 versus 5 now as the entry is attempted on bomb site B with salvaged weapons. Dennis Meister looks like he's going to be rotating. Not everyone on site just yet, but they are either on site or outside. Yes, 3 versus 5. The retake has to be made, otherwise the T's will get the bomb plant. With that, a little bit more money. It's now being made, isn't it? If I'm looking at the minimap correctly, it looks like it is. There it is. 3 versus 5. Very reluctant to make the entry, but Olafmeister is going to be coming in from tunnels while we have 3 CTs outside of window and door. It's also going to be Olafmeister accompanied by, I'm trying to identify who that was. Frags have already been made, all 3 of them, in exchange for, it was 2 for 3 just now. And with a diffused round, you're talking about 5 versus, oh, excuse me, 5 times 3,500. So that's going to bring it to 17,500, I'm sorry, 18,500, 17,500 in profit for Fnatic on top of all 5 of the frags that they made then. So overall, not too bad a position to be in for Fnatic. Really not so hot for Natus Vincere at the moment, because what you're talking about is a a round where they just rebounded from their max win bonus, and now it's looking like it's going to be more and more difficult, especially if they can't take this round. Next round, they will be set back on eco if all 5 of them are shut down. At the moment, the stack, well, that's JW already kind of shutting things down at mid. But what's happening now is, if I'm looking at this correctly, Natisvins here just don't want to leave their spawn for the moment. They're waiting on a kind of another overextension, kind of what they did during that eco round where I think it was Dennis who was taken down first as he kind of pushed up mid with his M4. But it may be coming just a little bit too late as there's 50 seconds remaining on the clock, and now Natisvins here have to find that bomb point. Difficult position to say the very least, as they have, you know, I wouldn't say the firepower advantage. They've got 2 AWPs. They have to try something new to bring out that win, but it looks like the entry is now being made at long A. Dennis Meister going to hold against 1, and C's not going to get that refrag. It's one of those things that's torturous right now. Elfmeister working with the 20 seconds he has on the clock to just get a headshot on the Zeus. He's going to be over peaking the A short slope, and he looks like he's not going to get that frag. Now we've got the remainders of Navi playing for saves. It's now 9 seconds remaining on the clock. They just have to stay alive for that much longer, and then the round reset time. C is going to get 1 to his name. We're going to see an attempted wall shot coming in from Guardian, and he's just unable to really hold his ground. I'm sorry, he's unable to actually take that frag is what I meant to say, rather. No profit to our 2 Ts with the AWPs, and it looks like it's going to be another full buy coming out from Natisvins here. 11th round. That's 10 rounds that have gone by, and only one of them has gone to Natisvins here as we are drawing towards the end of the first half. However, Crims did actually get taken down while he was crossing, if I read that correctly. So this is actually something that works out strongly in favor of Na'Vi. Really, the only problem is they're at a disadvantage with firepower. They do have the man advantage, however. They're going to be making that entry through mid. And there's someone waiting for them right on B slope, at the bottom of B slope. They're pulling back at the moment, actually. JW just... probably breathes a sigh of relief as he hears the backpedaling. Flusha, however, going to be throwing some Molotovs and frags up A short to what apparently was no avail. Still 4 versus 3, and most of those guys are at bomb site A. I think if they actually knew what was in B right now, they would potentially go for the replay, but here it is. The entry flash has been made. Olafmeister blind. He's allowed them to take some hold of the platform, and that's going to be Flusha making a refrag, or excuse me, 1 frag to his name. Zeus getting the refrag, and that's going to be a double frag on top of that. Triple with that Tech 9. Can you believe it? He gets a quad as well to seal things out. He's just, oh my god. Quite a profitable round coming out from Natisvins here. And as you can see, Fnatic, although they've won 9 of these rounds, they haven't had, you know, the massive bank that they had previously has disappeared. Why is that? Well, in layman's terms, CT weapons are much more expensive. Excuse me. I gotta work that stutter out of my system. But adding to that, they've lost, I'd say, like, a lot of these wins that they've been making are expensive wins. C is going to make the opening frag through a surface onto somebody's head. Edward going to be making another. And that, it's just paving the way for Na'Vi to take bomb site B at the moment, as we do see Guardian getting 1 and Flamey another. Edwards finishing it off. This was just a pure profit round coming out for the T side. Ultimately, Natisvins here has kind of swung this back in their favor, but they're not going to have more than 6 rounds to their name by the end of this half. Fnatic now can finally afford a buy. Going to be having JW just working his way up mid with that AWP, and I like the boost coming in from his teammate. That's something that... looks like he's going to be used very effectively this round, but, you know, he doesn't really see anything pushing up mid, so kind of, I wouldn't say a total waste of time, but just overall not that hot. Flash will go out to mid from, I think that was, no, it wasn't Flamey, it couldn't have been. But now, Smoke's being tossed out mid after the frag coming in from Guardian. And we're going to be seeing what now but a play for short A. Trying to keep the opponent blind. Speaking of blind, shooting through smoke. Dennis Meister on platform. He's going to get one frag. He's going to be assisted by a fragmentation grenade. Guardian's going to get the refrag. And that is going to be Flusha kind of bouncing at platform. Landing one ultra inaccurate shot, but entries are still happening for Natus Vincere. And Fnatic definitely not looking to win this round. 3 players remain. Profit has been made for Natus Vincere. Banks build so quickly on T side when you're not making those expensive wins happen from Fnatic. I mean, the trading was. This is basically Fnatic, you know, not doing too terribly amazing on trading. Why do I say that? Well, with nine rounds won and then 2 rounds lost, yeah, you know, they get, I wouldn't say stuck on eco, but they're kind of stuck on a ghetto vibe. It's gonna be P250 coming in from Crims, gonna be shut down immediately. Olfmeister gonna try and get that refrag, salvage a weapon, get out of there. And as it stands right now, this is it's better than it was last round, but unfortunately, as I say that, Dennis Meister gets taken down. It's all on Olfmeister right now. Gets spotted in a position where he couldn't have seen Guardian. And it's the last round of the first half. I'm not sure if that was a call for a nice shot. Yeah, it was. Olfmeister says thank you. And that's Natus Vincere, just staying calm all the way, drinking their vodka, and then taking it to Fnatic. So I wouldn't say they're slated to take the 6th and final round, but 5 AW. What am I looking at? 5 AWPs for real? Okay, well, they're giving us quite the show. Steves makes the opening frag. Five AWPs. I'm sure some of you guys are watching back at home and you're just laughing at this. Really, I need to get the chat room open. But Flusha gonna get the refrag with a frag onto Seized, and that's Natus Vincere showing off how well they've done in the final round, I guess, in some ways. This is a round robin tournament system, so I'd say that, you know, Na'Vi, they don't place too much weight on this one. But there it is. Flamey gets another one. It's 4 versus 3. What? Oh, okay, well, Zeus and Edward both have AK-47s now, just lo and behold, as if magic. But that just makes it happen. It's gonna be Zeus being escorted by Edward to take down Fletcher. KW spotted, and Edward's gonna make that second frag to his name. And Plant is gonna go down. Crims, no reason to save, but it's 3 versus 1 right now, and the odds are not in his favor. Gonna be walking through CT, and I think Zeus is going to spot him soon enough. It's gonna be 1 frag for him. To Edward. He's going in loud right now. They can hear his footsteps. He does make a jump happen, watching from just about every angle. And he's gonna be sandwiched here, more or less. Flamey. Oh my god, blind firing onto Flamey. He gets the kill. Unfortunately, he's unable to take down Zeus, and that is going to mean the last round of the first half going to Natus Vincere. Okay, so looking at this, I mean, it was very one-sided on the CT side for Fnatic, and now as we go into the second half, it's going to be starting in about 3 seconds. I just have to stop and think for a minute. What kind of rabbits are we going to be seeing coming out of Natus Vincere's hat? Obviously, the most important factor is making sure that they win the pistol round. Because typically you have a very easy subsequent and third round thereof. Let's get into the auto director. I do apologize for that. Seized, waiting for someone to push up suicide, and it's gonna be a smoke coming in. Jumps to take. I think that was just a straight up headshot from a Glock at that distance. takes him down to 28 HP almost immediately. And entries being made at A long. Edward knows that something's there, he just doesn't know how many. No rotate coming in from Natus Vincere just yet, but it looks like it was a fake. It was a fake. Well, there's only one in pit right now, and it looks like the push is coming from A short. JW now, jeez, well, this, I don't know what to say. I mean, Natus Vincere, I'm thinking this was a misplay coming from Fnatic if I was looking at it correctly. But JW does manage to get one refrag in for the name of his team. It's going to be all of Mice getting one. He's looking for the second as he's dueling behind Barrels. He moves forward past Barrels, and he's just unable to win that 2 versus 1 situation. Zeus going to seal things out with a quad, really. Amazing play, but Natus Vincere, if they're going to take this, then they're starting things off the right way. This alone will not determine who takes the win, but or rather, this will not eliminate anyone from the tournament. Again, this is round robin system. And we do see that Fnatic is not starting off too terribly hot. Dennis Meister now coming in from the lower tunnel, and looks like C is going to be blind firing into tunnel for the time being. That's Dennis Meister being taken down, and Edward's going to get 2 frags for his time. Takes a bunch of heat and manages to get out of there. Crim's watching for anything that may be popping up mid without his permission. Olafmeister waiting for that overextension from A short. Doesn't dare to pick up the bomb just yet. He wants to make sure that the area is clear. For the moment, Fnatic really can't trade too effectively with the weapons that they have. Really, its situation depends on whether or not they're able to get connections. Firing a little bit rapidly with the Deagle. He's doing his best as Olafmeister, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Very low HP CTs. That's something that definitely works in favor of Navi at the moment. Blind firing to the box. Zeus is looking for blood. I think he managed to get a loaded desert on Olafmeister. That's Crims getting a nice headshot with his Desert Eagle. Now, who is there on the other side of that wall? Olafmeister just shutting it down immediately. Flame coming in for the refrag, and that's gonna be C's getting the secondary. Edward coming in as well now. Knife attempt has been made. C's making the play of the game. Really. Just beautiful coming out from Natus Vincere. But 2 things there. One, we saw $1,500 rather go into the pocket of Seized. And 2, we saw $3,500 go to the entire team as a whole. So that means that Seized gets away with $5,000 that round, and I think he made a drop for a teammate. Three men A long from Natus Vincere. I wouldn't say unorthodox, but in this situation, I think they know what Fnatic is looking at. They just said to themselves, well, okay, they made a bunch of expensive pistol purchases. We're not talking about P250s and 5.7s and 1CZ here and there. We're talking about Desert Eagles. Yeah, I know they're only $700, but at the same time, when you're buying those coupled with armor, it's a pretty large investment to go with if you're on the team that lost the pistol round. Guardian makes the opening frag. He's looking for the second, unable to make that shot connect. Zeus, however, will be taking down someone's head, and bomb has yet to be planted. Unfortunate for Fnatic right now. Natus Vincere just building that bank, really. It's looking like it's going to be a full buy coming out from Fnatic. They're just not going to have as much money as they would typically have liked. There was some kind of a delay going down with the initial bomb plant. I'm not sure what happened there. I didn't pay enough attention. I think what happened was we saw a jump shot coming from our guy with the FAMAS there. I think it was Seized. And then what had happened previously was we had seen Seized also manage to jump again and just get that frag before the bomb plant was even close to possible. We do have a smoke now coming out at mid. It's going to be 1-for-1 as Seized makes the opening frag. Flusher makes a return frag. JW looking for his blood as well. And that's going to be Crimson making one for himself. Guardian, however, will not go down so easily. Flamey gets one in the background. And it's now Guardian with 1 HP against what remains from Team Fnatic. Gonna duel with the pistol. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be seeing Olafmeister taking down Guardian. You know, I mean, when you stop and think about someone with 1 HP getting shot by an op, you're thinking to yourself, well, okay, well, that's basically like a sledgehammer to put in a... That's like using a sledgehammer to knock over a mailbox. May not be necessary. Some of you guys can do that with your own hands, I imagine. If you're watching this video right now, I imagine you guys would be very strong. You can do that yourselves, right? Why not? Blind fire coming in from Olofmeister with that AWP at A-Long Hut, but no progress beyond that thereof. And Navi's position, I mean, it's not too terribly bad. They are definitely lacking in the way of utilities. That means Fnatic, sooner or later, whenever they feel comfortable enough to push, they are going to push. Just means when they want to push, they will. Frags definitely looking very hot there for Olofmeister. And Fnatic, you know, just last round it was at an even 9-9. Now it's a 10-9. Look at these guys. C's now coming in, and he is at 15 HP. I think he took a little bit too much heat. Hard to identify what happened there, but if I had to guess, I'd say Krim's made a headshot with the Galil, and ironically enough, it seems as though Zeus gets the opening frag there. Fnatic get the bomb plant down. It's 4 versus 5. They are looking for that entry, and that's going to be Krim's getting Zeus. 3 versus 4. Fnatic 1 man down, and the retake looks like it's still possible coming out from Natisfits here. It's going to be Edward getting 1. Olofmeister looking for the refrag. Will get that, but I'd say that the opportunity to get the defusal is long gone for Na'Vi, as no one is on site now, and no one is in tunnels. They were capitalizing on exit frags, and I think the sighting factor there. So nice to have that last laugh. Flusha taken down. That was not a profitable win coming out from Fnatic, I believe. I'll have to stop and do a number crunch real quick, but I don't think that was. Bomb plant and detonation. 3,500 times 5. 1,750. No. Certainly not. And overall, that costed 18,800 in terms of, you know, I guess you could say meta resources. Let's put it that way. Na'Vi, no, looking like they're ready to make something happen, but the question is, what is it? Just waiting for that, I guess you'd say anti-frag time, but Olofmeister waiting for someone to cross. I mean, they did manage to take down Zeus, got that pick to play off of, and, you know, I'd say that Navi's position was equally kind of, I wouldn't say god-awful at the end of the round, but, you know, they had just lost the round and they only had 3 guys left, so that's why the buy here is even like significantly worse than it was last round. So C's gonna make another refrag happen rather, and Edwards waiting for that overextension from JW at 35% HP. You know, with C's there, he might be able to hold down the Alamo at Car. We're gonna take it to C's TV. He's immediately shut down by Olofmeister. Flusha coming in with the plant. Watching both sides. Olofmeister is now watching A long. Guardian with that AWP waiting for just, you know, he's waiting for someone's head to pop into that, but it's not gonna happen. Meanwhile, Flamey looks like at A short does get one first time. 3 versus 3. Do they want to go for the retake? I mean, right now I think they've had enough economically sour rounds, but I don't see them moving forward just yet. Flusha making a little bit of noise there. Flamey waiting for him to pop out at A short. They're going to have to make that exit somewhere and at some point, but at the same time, A short might be survivable from the bomb blast. They do now retreat, and it looks as though they're heading for A long. Flamey waiting for that exit, but I don't think they'll be going through A long hut. little bit disappointed. Na'Vi with that move to save their weapons, I can't really blame them for it, but at the same time, they were not in that position to actually intercept those frags. Well, this time they do have a lot more room for utilities. Stronger buy coming out from Fnatic. That much is completely undeniable. But it's already a very strong A-long push. 1 for 1. 2 guys remaining on T side. That's Fnatic trying to make the plays happen. It's going to be JW getting the 2 for 1 for his team. And that kind of opens up a little bit of wiggle room at long A. But B is completely open with the rotations coming in as a result thereof. And it looks like we're actually going to be having them pulling back 4 versus 3. They said, okay, guys, let's just, play it safe. And they're banking on this. They don't have any solid information that, no one's in bomb site B, I think. But they know by some merit or another that the majority of the team is at either mid or A. I think this is kind of them doing a blind rotate. I can't say for sure. If Flamey was running by mid, then most certainly Dennis Meister heard it. He heard the rotation. Guardian looking like he's just going to be chilling and falling back towards CT. And he's waiting for that entry at B right now. He's also checking A short at the moment. He says there's nothing there. But at the same time, that's a very limited periscope to look through. Flamey going to get one first time. Waiting for what he thought would be a window entry or a door entry, but instead he's immediately refragged by Olafmeister. Krim's going to take down... I'm sorry, refragged by Krims, and Olafmeister gets Guardian at window. Now all that remains is seized. Looks like there's been a pause called, and I think this is going to be tactical coming in from the Na'Vi side. He's going to try and capitalize on some exit frags here. There's nothing wrong with that decision whatsoever. It's entirely up to him whether or not he wants to actually do this. But again, examining the situation that we have Natus Vincere in, I'm thinking they've lost 3 rounds in a row thus far. If they lose 4, they're going to get 2,900 off of this round. It could be a quasi buy, and then regardless of the win or loss, they should be able to make a full buy next round. Quasi buy to accompany that AK, right? Maybe not. No pistol purchases or anything like that, but of course, I think that's because they're talking tactics before they buy. So we're just gonna take things into a short pause real quick, and then we'll be back after a short break. Alright guys, we are back, and I think there was some kind of sarcasm coming in from the Fnatic side, but they said that was a great motivational speech during the pause. Meanwhile, we've got a pretty strong push coming up mid, and it looks like it was a quasi-buy coming in from Natus Vincere, at least the majority of the team. Guardian decided to go Glass Cannon SSG, and that's entirely his choice. They're banking on an A-short push coming, and I think Flusha might be the target of that scout affection. He does smoke A-short. They can already hear the fire coming through, and Flusha is completely unscathed from that. Seized, however, is going to be just lurking beyond that smoke with Grim's making the opening frag, Guardian getting a refrag, Flusha taking down Seized, Flusha taking down Flamey, and it looks like this tactical pause has not accomplished its goal coming in from Na'Vi. 1 versus 4 as Guardian is the last man standing. And I dare say in some ways he just says, okay, well, I don't want any trouble, I'm just going to plant at B, and that's indeed the case. Krims is already ready to... He was already prepared to intercept that drop down into CT coming from Guardian. But look at that. Glass Cannon coming out from Guardian. He's like, I play with AWP. AWP win the best win. Not completely out of this yet, but... Speaking for the Fnatic economic situation, I would say that if they were to lose this round, perhaps they would have some money left to make some kind of an economic, I would say economic, a strong-ish by JW. Gonna be taken down immediately by Edward. Rifle round definitely coming in and counting for Natus Vincere thus far. However, who is this? Oh my, Edward looking for Krims' head, but unable to find it. Krims just puts the 4 bullets into Edward, and that's all he needs. Gets away with 34 HP, and that's still going to give, in some ways, Fnatic has I wouldn't say leading advantage, but definitely Natus Vincere that slight advantage. I don't know, I think AK-47's going to make up for that. Dennis Meister definitely showing what he can do with his AK. He's looking for the second frag. Seas gets the refrag instead. And it's 2 AWPs and an M4 versus 2 AKs and an AWP. So far, Fnatic just scared stiff and not really pushing forward. They're waiting for, you know, some kind of, I wouldn't say overextension, but some kind of a misplay coming from Natus Vincere. And Natus Vincere, I don't think are the type that would, you know, in this situation, they know the stakes are high. They don't want to push their way in. Even if they don't make it to the playoff stage of this tournament, they will still be rewarded. There it is, like, Guardian just playing by patience. Gets Olafmeister through the smoke, I think, what was more or less kind of a miracle shot, but C is going to get another game, and that's going to be him taken down by Flesha. It's all left up to Guardian, who's now going to take it down. Zeus was there too. I mean, he was still alive, although he hasn't made any frags. At least on this round, he made himself count in some ways. I think this is going to be enough for one full buy or another. Wait, am I looking at this correctly? No way. Dennis Meister, what did he have? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was a win by time for the CTs. Instead, I was completely wrong. But still an expensive win coming up from Natus Vincere. And as you can see, Guardian, you know, still kind of forced to cut some corners. I don't think he's made any additional purchases since the last round. But 14-10, and Fnatic still have to take this very seriously. Everyone playing in fullest of form, and Olafmeister just, you know, playing like the op god that he is, showing his might, to say the very least. Again, Natus Vincere, they know exactly what they have to do and what they cannot cede to Fnatic at the moment, what they can't give up. And this is looking like some kind of a play for short A or mid, rather. I know it's going to sound a little bit absurd considering most of the team is in B tunnels or lower tunnels, but what I mean to say is it looks as though they're trying to capitalize on some kind of a frag at mid. JW poking forward with that AWP. JW, I'm sorry, not JW, I'm trying to identify. Sorry, that's Edward on top of Box and CT. Can't quite get that angle onto JW. It looks like he might be tempted to drop down soon. He hears the fire, JW does, but he doesn't see the person who was firing. Guardian now blind. He is just in the middle of smoke. He comes out of smoke and he gets the frag onto Zeus. 2 versus 2. Testicles of titanium, because balls of steel are extremely overrated. Guardian and Edward now pushing forward through mid. They have to go for the defuse. This, like, if they want to avoid overtime, it's what they have to do. Crim's gonna get one frag first time, blind firing, and that's going to be, I would say blind firing, but rotational firing, reflex firing, pre-firing. But no, Crims gets the double kill at the end of that. Seized asks for the HP of Crims, and he says 37. Bit unfortunate, but now we have Fnatic on match point. Force buy coming out from Natus Vincere, and that is going to essentially put them in a not so comfortable position. But Flesha being put in an even more uncomfortable position with a nice, I think that was a shot planted to the chest through Kevlar. But overall, Natus Vincere definitely on the more disadvantageous side. It's looking like a very strong play for B, especially with Olafmeister making that opening frag, the flashbang. Flaming on platform, blind. Crim's gonna take him down, and that is gonna be a smoke for window, door, bomb planted. Things are looking very grave for Guardian and his team at this moment. Especially now with Zeus going down, it's 2 versus 5. They can't just play for saves. That's ludicrous, really. They gotta keep themselves from being flanked. They're gonna have to work their way into the bomb site. They're not able to get their shots to connect, really. And that's gonna be Dennis Meister taking him down. Edward now next on the menu, and Dennis Meister gets himself a double kill. GG has been called by both sides. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. My name is Benjamin Breaker Novotny, and we'll be back with our next match in a relatively short period of time. Don't you go away.